let's do a little bit twist here. As I was browsing the Facebook, just you go to your timeline, and what it will do is, I have no idea what the fuck it will do. What it does is, to me at least, okay, what it does to me is it just pops all kinds of issues I'm not even searching for. Now, whether I search this or I don't search, it's the stuff that it just simply pops up out of nowhere. Just like in this case here, you see the guy about whom I have just wrote an article. His name is Sabrijan Jurkovic from Šentjerne, and I wrote about his involvement in MK Ultra and how police used one for what they wanted to demonstrate as a murder of Slovenian Aleš Šutar, in a parenthesis, Somali ACO, Somalski ACO. What's going on with this stuff here? What's going on is that Slovenian police used deeply underage children for MK Ultra, and I did spoke to you about that issue already. Now, when you're subjected to the trauma, you will have a difficulty to discern the age of the children if the trauma is so ultra violent as what Slovenian Gestapo, Slovenski Gestapo was doing with me. You're gonna have a great difficulty to discern the age between the people when you're dealing with such issues. So naturally I made a mistake. The first time he was involved was 7 years of age, and then it appears that he was just 11 years of age in 2013, because they say here that he is just 21 years old. That's what you got. 14 years Actually, that's worse than what I anticipated. Hold on a moment. That's much worse than what I anticipated it would be. This was the last article. I don't even know if I did discuss this issue. 7 years of age, right? That's 2010, right? If I'm mistaken or what? That will be, if he is 21 and $15 years away, that will be 7 years of age. That means, no, I'm not wrong. Plus 3, that's 11 years of age. 7 plus 5, 13, that's about 10, 11 years of age. I did not wrote about that stuff. That's correct. I hope I did not. No, I was correct about this stuff. It's all good. Just the way it is. Just exactly the way I stated. That I did not state the age. However, in 2010, based on this article here, which is a government article, a Roma guy was just, in 2010, he was just 7 years of age. That's all he was. And in 2013, he was 10, 11 years of age. It's all good. I told you, this was a frequent issue I dealt with during MKUltra. What I'm surprised is they did this stuff inside of our house. They did this stuff inside of our house. These pictures here were already introduced in MKUltra, and so was the video about killing of, I saw the video how he is kicked, and so was the video of killing Aleš Šutar, how he kicks him, also was introduced in MKUltra with not likely this guy, all through he claimed that he was the one who did it, and that took place in 2015, 2014. And he did even, it was issue about the age. I told him that's impossible. He said, yeah, man, it's possible. He was laughing about it. And this is it. Now, I am not here for this business. I'm here for the Somali ACO. The Slovenskega Somalca I'm here. About the Slovenian ACO is Somalski ACO. Slovenian Somalski ACO is like this. The Somalian ACO. Dolenski List is a newspaper, local newspaper here from Novo Mesto, that all of a sudden popped up on my page on a Facebook. I don't like one. I don't have absolutely anything to do with it. But it's important to stress the issue about the Somali ACO, about the guy that you see right there, who insisted that he also wanted to have something to do with this, and that he chose like a white power issue that he wanted to promote. This was the issue of Slovenian local new Novo Mesto director, who suggested that we will fight against the Nazism and will help me to prove that the shooting of the Charlie Kirk was a fake shooting. That's what Igor Juršić, this is what this scumbag here claimed he will do through use of this case. Charlie Kirk. The famous Charlie Kirk I already have wrote about. I think that whatever I state about the killing of the Charlie Kirk confirms. I am not going to give you the outcome. I'm not going to say fake or whatever. Stuff that I stated on the blog, it's all I have to say about the Charlie Kirk. There is much, much more that applies to Charlie Kirk, but I'm not going to go write books, because I got more important stuff to do, and this is used for some other issues. They knew I'm gonna go for this stuff, so because it was so stressed. This case here, they started to develop in 2006 through the local Roma guy from Žabjak here in Novo Mesto. There is a Roma settlement known as Žabjak in Novo Mesto. 2006, this was rather a short guy, an older guy in his late 50s, I would even say, has a house, and he is like, I don't know who the hell he is. He's like very respected over there in Žabjak, and he had kids, and he got all kinds of Roma kids, and he started to offer the kids to the local police. I told you, the garbage located in this building here, this is no police, this is a trash, it's a garbage, I told you. And they expressed interest in it, with Igor Juršić directly involved in it, with Andrej Štefanić, the funny man, directly involved in it, and a group of other garbagers from this Novo Mesto police station. Slovenian filth, scum, dunk. Not a police. Trash. This here. This is who worked in the background of this Janez Ogulin, who was previously also a director, and his name was also Gulaj, that was another director, of all these directors. this garbager who was involved in this crime in genocide against me since my childhood, was the one who's going to step on the Roma side and is going to prove, for the sake of the civil rights in the United States of America and the whole world, he's going to go and save through the local Roma case. That's how he was explaining me this issue. So I don't have much to say about this stuff. What's important is the trace, to demonstrate you how, based on brainwash, Slovenes believed I'm going to go and address this criminal Aleš Šutar also as a Somali. If it was not this individual, then there was another individual they had inside of Somalia, another Slovenian garbage, whom they have used during the torture sessions to deliver me to him, and who simply shined in front of me, voiced about how he is good and I am shit. This is stuff Robert Golob from Ljubljana with the Milan Kučan, with other Slovenes, are going to have to explain about the Somalia, about the Somali ACO. If it was not this ACO here, who, by the way, it very much looks like the guy, Slovenian guy whom they kept in Somalia. They had this scum displays throughout the world where they would use them to prove that Slovenes are not like me. They are different. They're very humane. They're very pro-human rights and I don't know what else. So, as the violence progressed, this ACO in my mind, it could be they used this garbager to travel to Somalia. It could well be. And you have to dig this guy out of the grave to find out exactly what exactly was he doing and where exactly he was. Because today, I wouldn't even go for it, but I was reminded of several decades of torture in Somalia, in which also it appeared to me this guy here was involved. This is a 48 years or 49-year-old local here from Novo Mesto, who even supposedly came from another location in Slovenia, decided that he would land in Novo Mesto simply because of me. This is what brainwash had in it. And so, how the hell did I find this guy? Well, let me demonstrate to you how. They just write about this guy today. It's all about him. Candles back and forth. That's how that goes. And so it's very important for me to demonstrate you the link which I followed. I thought that I did video recorded one, and then it seems like I did not. And so I saw that I did not, and that just simply disturbed me. Alright, so there was a link. There was a link I follow from this SLOVENSKI list, which I followed because it was written that Somalski ACO, you know, and as I searched the internet, I couldn't find anywhere any link about the Somalian ACO in respect to this guy. I didn't find anything. They created entire schizophrenia in respect to this issue, which matches the brainwash, the MK Ultra brainwash, to the last millimeter. This is an article that is dedicated to him. And it's interesting because everything was in English. You know, it's interesting because everything was in English. Everything is in English from what I see here. That's interesting. So this should be This should be actually here written somewhere. Znani novomeški gostinec, delavec, DJ in oče dveh otrok, iskren žal najbolj izreknuti iz uredništva. Local patriot, Rozmanova cesta, die, tragic man, unfold, this and that. Suffered serious head injuries. Interesting. Basically, since I did not video recorded this stuff, and that was a really stupid thing, and I did not do that because I simply didn't video record this stuff because I thought that it's here that you cannot change any of this stuff. I was pretty sure that I can get that easily pulled out, and now it seems to be quite impossible to find the same link. The link was the one that I demonstrated you right on the top is what I clicked, and I was taken to the SLOVENSKI list website, where, however, I couldn't find anything about the Somali. That's what's interesting. Now, this in the Šutar, it's known as the Dobruška Vas. That's the main settlement, but he did not live in Dobruška Vas. He lived like near that place, few minutes away from that main Roma settlement in Šutar. That was a Mount Everest of torture that went on inside of that settlement. With Roma people did not want to know absolutely anything about. It was about this case come out, you know. It was about whether this case should come out, and it was a panic. It was hectic. They drove this Roma people completely insane on what is it going to be if this comes out and stuff like this. This so-called police in Novo Mesto, this is just in Slovenia, this is just a total garbage. This is no police. This is exactly as I stated. This is exactly as I described on my blog. I see that they changed this stuff. That's really interesting. It's really interesting. They sure did. They don't write anything below here, and that actually really surprises me. That actually really kind of surprises me that I am not capable to trace this link, which they displayed on my page earlier. The brainwash during MK was such that we will get the law against the Roma people. We will get the law against the Roma people. And insisted about, if I recall, the time that I spent in Somalia being tortured, where ACO, for Aleš Šutar is his name, the guy who was killed, became recognized. Yeah, they had some Somali guy who claimed that he certifies him that he is a good humanitarian and etc., man, good man, etc. That by enacting that kind of law against the Roma community, it's very important that a murder of individual whom they would use as an excuse, as a prelude for this type of what is this other than, I'm not going to get into it. That it's very important to have somebody who is already internationally recognized. That's why we're gonna write Somali, Somalia, Somali, ACO, and in these articles, but it doesn't matter what articles they display about this Aleš. It's a lot of Serbian journalists, in a parenthesis, who write their views about, condemning this, wow, what the Roma did, what the Roma community did, and this and that and so on, if you understand me. And for that part, they also brainwash me. Now, that's going to help us because the Serbs are mostly concerned about the Roma in Slovenia and so on. So, with that kind of support, we can go and we can pull the new law. That's what they insisted me. That's what they washed my brain during MK Ultra. Those are actually the finals of killing that took well over 40 years. Bestiality performed by the Slovenes. She was involved directly in this issue. Aha, there you go. There you go. It might not even be directly related to the... It might not even be directly related to Aleš Šutar. I have no fucking idea. But they say here in English, as you see, in a memory, okay, in a memory of a resident of Somalia. Okay, I didn't pull this out of anywhere just like this, but you don't get any kind of article, you just get this kind of stuff. This is what you get. That's all you get. You don't get any kind of article here, and if you go and if you search, Somalia is located in Africa, as you know. ACO, Somalia. You put his name here, Aleš Šutar. This is very important for me because this is basically how either schizophrenia is proven. You know what I mean? Which police was desperate to prove that something is wrong with me, or it's proven that Slovenes are not competent to regulate, to govern their own country, that this is still a great part of the greater Serbian ethnic state known as Yugoslavia, which is proven in my case beyond any doubt. If you go here, Novo Mesto, this is here where I am from, and you enter name ACO, and you enter here Somali, you get his pictures. Look at that. It's covered with his pictures, with the candles, police all over the place, man. But that's interesting. If you Google this here, just a regular Google, you get exactly the results with which they brainwashed me during MK Ultra are gonna be. And they started to molest me in an issue of pneumology, allergology, immunology, in which physicians from Novo Mesto were involved in. By the way, Kramer was already, since my earliest childhood, a physician who was involved in it, and so on and so forth. These are his, that's his daughter, his granddaughter. I remember I met his daughter who was also involved in it, etc., etc., etc. So, and then they started to molest about, you have a problem with inflammation and this and that and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of issues, you know what I mean? So it's like driving you totally insane, literally through the health issues, pushing your cholesterol, which was also one of the topics, diabetes issue, etc., into sky, basically. All kinds of lunacy with ambulance vehicles chasing you and police and so on. This is what this shit is. Through see nothing, know nothing, hear nothing game. That's what this shit is. So it's important for me to declare about how exactly I got to this. How exactly do I got to this? How do I got here? If I would do a shit job, that's exactly what Poklukar stated me. He would step down. That's if I would do a shit job in respect to individual here who was killed from Novo Mesto. That if I would do a shit job, that he would just step down. Oh my God, what the fuck am I gonna do? And went on with his schizophrenia and how everything is gonna collapse, and the police is gonna come, and they're gonna be inside a psychiatric. That's a Slovenia. That's this murderous shithole. Anyhow, I absolutely did, described absolutely everything with the mayor. They repeat how just, his name is Macedoni, also a scumbag who was involved in this lynching, local here from Šmarješke Toplice, Šmarjeta area. He insists that the situation significantly deteriorated during the last 10 years. That's not precisely the truth. The killing, the lynching, in the name of Yugoslavia, went on Novi Trg, in area of Novi Trg where this bar known as a Patriot is located. That stuff went on since 1988. So that's not precisely the truth. Through the bars, through the stores, which many never existed, through the stores, through the bars, which were about to open in year 2, 3, etc., by the ghost workers, by the people who didn't work there yet, by the local Roma community, supervised by police. Of course, this is entirely police. The whole thing is entirely police thing. Those are known as ghost workers. Whomever they would get willing to get involved in a torture, whomever they would get willing to get involved in crime, it was more than welcome. So this area here, if I demonstrate you, this is this Novi Trg area. Yeah, Novi Trg basically is based on this street here, Novi Trg. In this place here, where this incident supposedly took place, is what I was also delivered during MK Ultra at nights by the police to be intimidated, including before this bar was even open. So we're not talking about the last 10 years. We're talking about the ultra violence. We're talking about worse than or at least equal to Guantanamo, that you have a prisoner and you're beating him up, intimidating with a death. And you're doing this under total sleep deprivation, the most severe sleep deprivation procedures. You get in his face. You traumatize him. You promise him this, you promise him that, all kinds of stuff. I even found myself in a psychiatric hospital when they were doing this stuff. That does not go 10 years back in time. Just as I described, all under this issue. It goes all the way to 1988. That's before Slovenia became even independent. About 3 years before Slovenia became independent. So that's roughly 30, what is it? 20, that's 12 plus 25, it's insane. It's hard to believe 37 years, roughly 37 years. Police in Novo Mesto, the so-called police, the Slovenes, that complain about the Hitler, and they complain about the Mussolini, and they complain about I don't know who the fuck, enforced stuff like this throughout the city. So they do this stuff because they want to look the whole situation like it's normal, this is just lately, and so on and so forth. This issue was directly tried to Americans and Chinese and all kinds of parties involved in this, which they had their own demands. Nobody give a fuck about saving, solving, stopping this genocide against me. Everybody demanded for me to see myself in them and taking their side. Talking about the politicians here. Hexet played a major psychiatrist during MK Ultra, learned from psychiatrist Peter Kapsch to be just about copy of psychiatrist Peter Kapsch in a mild, you know, not as insane, anywhere even near as severe as crazy. The psychiatrist Peter Kapsch I described. Just maybe 3% of the craziness of the psychiatrist Peter Kapsch. They started to pretend like act crazy and talk about the psychiatry and so on and so forth. So that was very important issue for me. I don't know what they might actually even say, hey, you know, he's talking about this, that he was into Somalia and so on. They say right there something about the Somalia. Don't they say here that he was a Somali resident? Well, yeah, I mean, resident of Somalia. Resident of Somalia. They don't mention this absolutely anywhere, and so I want you to understand what MK Ultra is, how MK Ultra is done, how they enforce this, how they enforce this stuff. It's for me very important for you to understand what the hell this shit is with this scum. Now you have the picture here of him everywhere. Everybody is identifying, equaling with him and so on. And yeah, one of the things it would be, wow, you know, how come the fuck there is nothing about the Aleš Šutar on the internet? How the hell is this shit? This is a Google. Google is a pretty damn big, it's a pretty big search engine. Plus that, I gotta tell you, the police, when they sit in front of me, they entered various variations of what you see I'm doing here. The stuff that I'm doing here, now I have here, after I entered a J inside, they would sit with you in front of the computer and they will give you variations of your possible key entries into the search engine and interpret in whichever way the fuck it fits them best. However, I'm glad I came across the name Kramer because they were very involved in this. So this is all you get. That's all the fuck you get. So do you think that something is wrong with a Google search engine? It's interesting because if you click on the images, then you get totally different picture. Now in this case, I don't even get to see him, which is even more fucking crazy, man. You don't get anything. So I think that this somewhat explains that something is wrong with the fucking internet. You're fucking doing something to the internet. If I enter you, Aleš Šutar, Novo Mesto, ACO. Oh shit. Let me take this away. Somalia. Even like that, even with the key words that I use, I don't see how the fuck it doesn't show me the same results that I get here now. And I don't know much about how the hell this stuff works, but there is just so much about him when you click the pictures. It's all over the place. You get to see it all over the place. This individual even that threatened me, claimed me inside of our house that it was Tsankar, Ivan Tsankar, who was beaten up with the iron stick, practically killed. He was giving me example. He identifies himself with Israel, claims that he is a Jew. His entire family, Slovenian Jew. His name is Mago Jelinčić. He has a special taste for the Roma people. He presents himself as a protector of the Slovenes. How the fuck is this? What the hell is going on here with this shit? Anybody heard about this fucking guy? This is important for me to video record. It's very, very, very important for me to video record because it's a criminal evidence against police. And also, I have no fucking idea. Maybe even against Google. Americans were involved in this stuff, so what the fuck is going on here with this stuff? If I put this away, remember the name ACO, then you get everything about him. So what's up with the Somalia? Why is it that they don't want to know anything about the Somalia all of a sudden? You see why it was so important for me to stop by and video record so that you understand where and how I was triggered on the issue of Somalia. Robert Golob, Milan Kučan's issue of Somalia. Do you see how important this shit is? If you don't video record this stuff, you don't have the evidence. So many times I did not video record, so I learned that this kind of evidence could be actually crucial. Slovenia is a murderer's shithole. All of a sudden you get it too much. You get all over about the ACO. But the Somalia somehow is missing everywhere. There is nothing about the Somalia. Nobody knows anything about the Somalia all of a sudden. There you go, the ambulance losers appear themselves over there. They're gonna lay down the candles. You know what? This scum Slovenian doesn't even care about the people that are alive. These are fucking worms, parasites, not human beings. That's why when I see these candles, when I see these tears of the crocodile tears, basically when I see that kind of stuff, I can't help myself, cannot hold back the filth, the scum the Slovenes are. That's why I stated I'm gonna sue you for teaching me about Adolf Hitler and about the neo-Nazi Germany in the grammar school. I told you about that stuff because you have absolutely no right to do so. Based on your own Slovenian history, you exceeded the crimes of Hitler and of the neo-Nazi Germany in my case. You started with a genocide when I was less than 1 year of age. And you have absolutely no fucking right to indoctrinate anybody about any kind of civil rights. Today, the entire world is drowning in crime because of you. Murderous fucking scum. 2 million shit. Now look what they did on a global scale. So, plenty of it, but do not write the letter, do not write the word Somalia next to it. Either that will be in English or in Slovenian language. Do not write the word Somalia next to it. You can write, if you want, Austria, probably. But do not write Somalia. Yes, of course. You can probably write the name India next to it. Now that's weird, that's strange. Also not. That's all I want to say for this video. For me, this is very, very important issue. It popped up on my page. Shit pops up on my page, I have nothing to do with it. Every fucking day. It's like this. I have nothing to do with this. Nothing. I didn't like. I, just like the other newspaper that you have seen, I did not like one. I didn't express interest in reading the news from their Facebook page. They just pop up out of nowhere and you get it. It appears out of fucking nowhere. Nothing. I got nothing in common with it. Yep, this is just the way it is. They pop out of nowhere and just the newspapers just like this. And there you go, there you have it. I have nothing to do with this here. Who the fuck are this here? Gostinci. A local business, they were all involved in it. They were all involved in it. These days, the only thing they do is they dance around me and they search for an answer. Try. We don't know each other. That's all there is about. They're looking for excuses, whichever way they can, whichever... I have nothing to do with this page. Man, there is too many pages like this. But this is the page where I actually do participate. I don't participate in Rothschilds. I don't participate in Trigger Point. I don't participate in this issue here. This was also involved in it. This so-called Gostinci, that's basically restaurants that express concern because this guy was in a restaurant business. Bars and so on. They all threatened me that if things will go wrong with this guy, with me, nobody will want to know about me no more, and etc., etc. Fuck you, motherfuckers, Slovenes. Fuck you, eh? Fuck you, motherfuckers. You don't even have your country, fuckers. People ask me, where the fuck are you from? I don't know how the fuck to answer them. I'm not part of you, and you're not part of me, and you're never gonna be part of me. I am from here. My ancestry, everybody was from here. That only means one thing. You're not from here. Either you're not from here or I'm not from here. One of the two. One of us is not from here. Because what you committed is genocide. Who gives a fuck about you? What you think about me? Who's gonna be with me? As far as Slovenia and so on. The world needs to learn. In this planet, there is a scum, worms, filth, parasites, shit. And they're known as the Slovenes. It's a phenomenon. We haven't seen anything like this yet in the world. They even accomplished their independence through my case. I was their mojo. Used for industrial trade, military trade, everything in this world that can be, every aspect of life, through the Soviet Union and what was known as a Yugoslavia previously. Yet they were not capable to resolve anything even upon their independence. Nobody cares about the fucking restaurants, Slovenes and doctors and so on. You motherfucker scum. You're all fucking scum. I don't care about you. I don't care about you at all, scum. It's not about how am I going to see myself. Whether I should see myself for my benefit in you. It's about how I am going to see myself for not being part of you. For the world to understand I'm not part of you, scum. You stalked me to the US. From Miami to Minnesota to Washington State to Scandinavia to Germany, all over the Europe. Through Austria. Through Italy. Actually in Italy I didn't even travel, but in Austria I did. With what right have you done that? What kind of right have you done that? What exactly was your right? The right that you granted yourself to do that was a Slovenian passport. And previously it was a Yugo passport. That's the kind of right you're going to have to give in. That means that you're going to have to give me my sovereignty from you. Because I am not moving from here. I am not fucking going anywhere from here. 54 years of life you destroyed. You scum, murderous scum Slovenes. I persisted and survived here for 54 years. And if I tomorrow die, the world will know the truth. So you're never gonna sing again about, samo 2 milijona nas je, we are only 2 million, we fight with the thunders, with the storms and so on. You're a fucking cowardless scum. Filth is what you are. That's all I gotta say for this video. It's very important for me to understand about these shitbags, how they get there. In 2012 they labeled me as mentally ill. It's very important for me to accent how they get their schizophrenia going. This man insisted, this guy insisted, together with the Milan Kuchon, with his padron. This one here, that's his padron. That's his another padron, teacher, a little bit older teacher. That Jörg Haider was a neo-Nazi, a Hitler in Austria, where the Slovenian minority is. This is where they would deliver me for bestiality, for the lynching, next to Italy. And they also tried on the Hungarian side. And the Hungarians were not very excited about that. But through the channels, they managed to redistribute violence throughout the Italy successfully, and through the Hungary. And absolutely also through the Austria. Whom I supposedly have supported. I was a big ally of him. My God. Listen. The stuff that went on in Slovenia when I was brought from house to house throughout entire Slovenia and every fucking village. With people spitting in my face. Giving me death threats. From door to door. It's not about the neighbors only here. They did this shit throughout entire Slovenia. I would have hugged and kissed the ass of the Adolf Hitler if I only could. The stuff was so bad that I actually had to convince myself in the name of justice that the World War II did not even end. And that the neo-Nazi Germany, because this was the biggest evil of the Slovenian people, still existed, and one day, one way, somehow, some way, is going to find back and retaliate for the stuff, in the name of God, for the stuff that was done to me. This is a complete lunacy, you're going to say. Yes, of course. The torture was unlimited. It was It was a torture in oblivion, trauma torture, I repeat, so that you understand this stuff. When you go 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 1 week without the sleep, and you just don't go to sleep, maybe weeks without the sleep, traumatized, tortured, you too would wish for this kind of stuff, that you have nothing to do with it. I told you, side of my family, from the father, already was on a train station here in Novo Mesto. They were going to dispatch them into extermination camp during the World War II. Either Dachau or Auschwitz. My grandfather supplied a partisan troops with the medications. He was a secretary appointed by Italians, by the Germans during the World War II in the city of the Novo Mesto. The heads of my family were on the plates every day from his side. A brother from my mother was killed in a battle as a partisan. Her entire family, it was a single mother with several kids. They were all enrolled in a communist party. They were all enrolled in a partisan movement. So we are dealing with the evil, with unprecedented evil here. We're dealing with an unprecedented evil. We are dealing with the Slovenes here. When the Slovenes open their mouths, you know, it's a shit that is coming out. It's a diarrhea. It's a lie that pops out. Robert Golob insisted that I was a supporter of this guy. Yes, of course I was. Indeed, I was. And this guy was not even such a bad guy, based on my experience with him during MK Ultra. All through, he started to side with the Russians, and that really disappointed me deeply, angered me. Might have been my fault, because I started to get extreme during MK Ultra procedure. So, because of me, to clean his image, because I was worse than he was during MK Ultra, he connected himself with a gay life, because he didn't want to be seen like the way I became personality during MK Ultra. But I was not like this in real life, but that did not matter. Because when the Lucifer, when the Satan has you by the throat, even under the subconscious which they enter through the drugs, that's what it is all about. You can see with the Russian, what they're doing in Ukraine, how they do, and what the stuff they did in the Srebrenica and the Balkans, the stuff they did in the Balkans, to the Croats, to the Bosnians, you can see it. They did it to Albanians, they did it to Hungarians, they did it to everybody on the Balkans, including to the Roma people. They don't really appreciate Roma so much in Serbia. They're just using Roma for some shitty business. Roma is bound to be poor because it's needed for other purposes. This is just the way it is. This is how they do it. In other countries, they make sure to involve them in the society. And the Balkans, they make sure that they stay where they are and extort them to do dirty stuff. The name of the political party of this guy was FPÖ, Freiheitliche für Österreich, Freedom Party for the Austria. Whether he did have a conflict with the Slovenes or not, Slovenes enforced extermination procedure, genocide against me in Carinthia and in the Styria regions of Austria. And they also did in a Bad Aussee, right? Bad Aussee also. That's an upper, no, actually that's a lower Austria region. And the Salzburg region, and so on and so forth. Robert Golob is going to explain all that stuff with Milan Kuchan. They did this shit in Vienna. They did this shit through Upper Austria. They did this shit everywhere. Some Slovenes in Austria revolted against that. Most of them went along the Slovenian extermination agenda. They didn't feel that this truth would be the best to come out in their interest. This guy did not feel very comfortable about what Slovenia enforced in Austria, because what you do with stuff like this is called terrorism. That's what the state of terror does that. And he was not very excited about what Slovenes were doing. So his views on Slovenian minority were dismissive. He didn't like that. He didn't like this kind of stuff and wanted to make sure that Carinthia would not turn into Milan Kučan's province. In retaliation, for which Milan Kučan promised me with Robert Golob, Dr. Robert Golob, yeah, he's a doctor. He is straight from the movie, I don't know what is the name of those lunatics. Classic character, lunatic character, this Robert Golob. He's a doctor. Promised me they will form what will be a freedom party of Slovenia. And they did. And they also promised me that they would exterminate me, like Jörg Haider exterminated Slovenes in Austria. I would appeal to the Austrian government to consider what I stated here, to acknowledge that Slovenes threaten me, claim me, will exterminate me in exactly the same way Robert Golob did, Milan Kučan did, Borut Pahor did, Danilo Turk did. They exterminate me in exactly the same way as to what Jörg Haider have done to the Slovenes in Austria. Apparently this man exterminated Germans, German Austrians, or Austrian Germans in Austria. Austria is a German-speaking country. And in the retaliation that they would do this to me. So man, if this is not fucking sick, because I don't know that this guy would go and exterminate Slovenes in Austria, then I don't know what the fuck it is. Somebody is very sick here, but that ain't me. Proven. There is Dr. Robert Golob here, who also formed the freedom movement. He formed his own freedom, the so-called Slovenian freedom movement. And that's a payback. We will retaliate and so on. You know what? I got enough of this Slovenian fuck garbage. Appealing to the international community here. Is this how you want to tutor people about the World War II, about the Hitler? Is this how you want to go about the United Nations principles? Is how you want to enforce the law and order, global law and order? Is how you want to present humanity, the so-called Universal Declaration of Human Rights from United Nations? It's how you want to get it done through the European Union Court for Human Rights, European Commission, so-called Human Rights Ombudsman, etc., and US Justice Department says to the world to understand that the world is a controlled shithole where through the political power just about anything can be done through it. And this is the garbage that collected themselves inside of our house with the assistance of CIA and FBI. Well, I also became a citizen in 2000. It's important for you to understand that people in Slovenia who enforce this against me are more than schizophrenics. They have their pedigree, they have their ancestry, which is tracing to this location here. There are about 650 execution locations in the post-World War II Slovenia, where they executed not only collaborators with neo-Nazi Germany, with the fascist Italy, but they went on to execute, including children, women, and also completely innocent people who had nothing really to do with the Nazism. Many people were even forced to wear the German uniforms. Yet they would kill absolutely everything. It was all about the killing. Kill, kill, kill. The memory that blueprinted itself in the minds of the Austrian Slovenes, Slovenian minority in Austria, which no longer wanted to have absolutely anything to do with its Slovenian part located on the Yugoslavian side of the border. I bet nobody will want to go to homeland like this. So these are grandkids. The people who do this to me are grandkids of people who committed this kind of stuff. And they will continue to do stuff, whatever the hell they feel and want, in their Slovenische Heimat, the way it fits them best, for as long as someone's not going to stop this scum. I don't know how much they anticipated that I'm going to stand up to their violence, but I got a feeling that they did not anticipate it's going to come this way. It's going to come along like this. Yeah, this was the guy who threatened me with a metal iron stick by giving me an example of Ivan Cankar inside of our house, how that I have to watch out I'm not going to get with an iron stick like Ivan Cankar did. He was proud about the Slovenian violence. He asserted that as a concern, but it was really a threat. With that being said, thank you very much for watching this video. You're on a Google Ulster Times. That's what you're watching. Thanks for watching this video. Till next time, it's important for me. You're not going to stress. It's last 10 years. And I am not even referring to the Roma violence in this case. Novi Trg area in Novo Mesto. 37 years since 1988. Novi Trg in Novo Mesto. That's it. Novi Trg in Novo Mesto. That's this area here. This area here, where there are nothing other than it was mostly this area here. This was an apartments inside of the hotel here. The bank area, before the bank came here. During the banks were the institutions where enormously a lot of torture was done. Because they wanted the schizophrenia, they wanted the proof about the schizophrenia. Enormously a lot of torture was done. And the torture was done in such a way as they knew the improvements they will implement, like concerning the internet, online banking, that they would implement new security features, no longer only through the telephone verification, etc. That they were coming from other banks into the bank, which they were not employed in, to post as employees there, because they knew that there will be bank closed in such and such year, and they would go and they would work in this. So we have in this bank. So they were posing with the ghost workers. They were posing with the locations that they did not exist, stores, bars. They involved a Roma community in this. They involved Serbs. Anything. This was a shithole always. At night time, this was a hot crime area. It was gangs here that started to collect themselves, just as I described on the blog. However, the police had under control these gangs. That's because the police controlled gangs. These are by the police controlled gangs. This is Slovenia. And Slovenia is a shithole. Shithole. They are deluded, man. All this area, everything here that you see, everything was torture. From apartment to apartment. From the office to the office. Not from the building to building. There you have a bank, Sao Paulo here. They have stolen money from me. They get you with a free account and then they start to charge. They were involved in it. They stole a load of money. All they do is they throw into the psychiatric hospital. You have no fucking access to any kind of Sao Paulo bank. You cannot even close the fucking account. And then the only thing they do is they pop the fees. And on top of the fees, the interest rates and so on and stuff like this. They fucking toast you. And that's what they were doing. Through the forced unemployment. Which practically they started when I was born. Less than age of 1. So, let's keep it clear about what Slovenia is, what Novo Mesto is. Let's accent about this stuff. This guy, Sabrian Jurkovic, this guy, for this guy, they insisted me that he's going to help me out, and he insisted that he's going to help me out, etc., that kind of stuff. I cannot say that he was violent in particular. He tried to be violent, and he just couldn't be. And he might have even had the reason for it during MK based on what I stated they were doing with me. You understand me? It was all about, if you will be like this, then we cannot help you and so on. You can fucking help you, fucking Slovensky, eh? As for this guy here, this guy Šutar, this is just totally bizarre. This is totally bizarre stuff. He had these pictures already before. He was showing me these pictures. This has nothing to do with civil rights movement. This is just the way to bind people with something that doesn't fucking exist. My case doesn't have nothing to do with the civil rights movement. I have nothing to do with the civil rights movement, other than what I stated in the blog. The most you can do is explain people about what goes on, what went on. The worst that you can do in my situation is you start taking sides, political sides. The civil rights movement people in my case were beasts, animals. And Igor Juršić, the Slovenian garbage here from Slovenia, Robert Golob, Milan Kučan, what they wanted is, they wanted to take a part in the civil rights movement. Not really, they wanted to exterminate, kill, genocide. It was the civil rights movement people who gave them the support to do it in the name of the civil rights. All that brainwash. Oh, you got to say this, and they're going to do to us this, and they're going to do to us that, and they're going to do, I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. And then you have that other side, Janez Janša and so on. We will fuck them and this and that and so on and so on. And nobody really was interested. Nobody was interested in solving this case. And this is not about the solving, but this is about ending genocide. This case clearly is proven. What they want is for you to take sides, political sides. And as you take the political sides, they massacre you. They rip you apart. Because when you have a cancer with a broken spine and you're unemployed And you're treated by your mother like a trash, like a dirt on a daily basis. Abused on every step of the way you make with zero income. Lifetime. Every second, every minute is fucking precious to you. That's why you have this civil rights shit surfacing up like a dreck from the toilet that doesn't go through. That's what they're doing. They're buying the time through Obama, through Harris, through all these Democrats, American Democrats, who are in a complete agreement with the Hexet, with the J.D. Vance, with all this garbage from Republican, etc., Donald Trump movement and so on. They all work together. So by your taking the sides, political sides in this shit, that's what you call, in my case, that would be known as a schizophrenia. Because both sides were in agreement to get me killed. Since I came all the way this far, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to demonstrate you what exactly I have written, so that some of you are not going to say, oh well, you know, it was whatever it was. Let's make this like this. Let's do it like this. So that we document the stuff that I did in respect to this investigation, that was basically concerning the Somali Aleš Šutar. He was no fucking Somali. This guy is just he was just a scumbag. As I explained, they were using him. This is a Slovenian native here that was just steering the shit. Just as I explained, they went out there to hire as much crime as possible globally, from North Pole to South Pole, and everything in between, including the most remote islands. Whatever the foot step on. Everything is exactly the way I stated. Everything is okay. Everything is fine. Everything is precisely the way it was. And this stuff be documented and also video recorded so that you can see how I got about the issue about the Somali, etc., etc. The bestiality performed on me in Somalia, it was a bestial thing. Now imagine you find yourself in my situation and some fuck tells you that they're gonna get the law like this done. It's necessary to involve other global community to get the support. This shit reminded very, very closely of the Israel, no? It's not Jews that did this in Gaza like this too? If you want to know what's going on in Gaza, then you enter this keywords. Over 70,000 killed, 180,000 wounded, million expelled, starved to death, with the consequences that are going to last generations. Jews from Israel also insisted me that it doesn't matter what you do in this world. What matters is how much other people see themselves in you. And that's exactly what I meant under Somalia. That's exactly what I meant under the Serbian journalists. They were using the names of the Serbian journalists under this articles about this ACO. It's exactly what I was also brainwashed. Doesn't matter. That's all there is for this video. Thanks for watching this video. Here is the time and date. I want to take a little bit precious time away from me. It doesn't pay them off at all. Everything here is under control.